Hey YouTube, I have a problem. I've got this Westcott FJ80IIS. The S in this case stands for Sony. The problem I'm having is that I am using a Panasonic camera to film this. I have Olympus Micro Four Thirds cameras and I have Canon DSLRs, and I'd like to use this flash on all of them. Sony has its own hot shoe mount, unfortunately. But if I change the hot shoe and update the firmware on the device, could I turn this into a multi-brand one, despite the S on the logo right there? I reached out to Westcott support, and together we talked about it a little bit, and it sounds like the answer is maybe. They didn't give me any guarantees, but they were helpful nonetheless, and they were willing to send me a generic hot shoe mount for 20 bucks. And in addition to that, they were even so kind as to point me to the firmware I would need for the generic version. Let's dive in. All right, in this box I have the replacement hot shoe. Let's see if we can get this swapped out and make it work. So here it is, the generic hot shoe. It's got a little circuit board inside and a ribbon cable. And then on the bottom, it has the standard pinout for flashes. First thing I'm going to do here is pop the battery out. Definitely don't want to have power while we're doing this. And then on the bottom of the hot shoe here, there are just 4 Phillips screws. Let's go ahead and pop them out. So let's do it. Being careful to save these screws because I noticed the new hot shoe does not come with new ones. All right, we got it off, and we can now see the inside of the flash unit here. You can see here's the Sony hot shoe, and there's the ribbon cable going into the main circuit board. So let's go ahead and delicately remove this ribbon cable. So we'll give it a pull up to remove the door. I know this is super hard to see. So the hot shoe mount right there, there's just this little itty bitty flap you have to lift. The ribbon cable can sit inside this little trap door, and then you can close the ribbon cable connector to lock it in place. So let's get our new hot shoe and hook it up. So just careful to check the orientation of this board here. I want it to go in the correct way. So I'm just going to push the ribbon cable into that open slot. Not going to lie, it's pretty tricky, a little flimsy. So now we just need to fold this ribbon cable back inside the body and flash the firmware to see if we can get this to work. Yeah, I'm just going to let the cable gently fold so we don't want to break the connection, you know? All right, to flash the firmware on this thing, there's a hidden flap on the side of the camera here that once you pull it off reveals a USB-C port. And so if I understand the process correctly, we will hook this up to the computer and this will show up as a mass storage device, and we will drag in the firmware file. So I want the multi-brand, not the Sony one. So let's go ahead and download that firmware version, the latest one, and then plug this into the side of the flash. We'll allow the unit to connect. All right, moment of truth. Go ahead and tap the blue logo to turn it on, and it popped right in. Let's check the firmware settings really quick to make sure that we've got the right version. It says up at the top, version 2.01, which is the one that we've installed. So it appears like it worked. I can see already that multiple brands are available in the menus, which is very promising. But the final test is, will it work on a non-Sony branded camera. Let's give it a shot. So I've got a Canon 6D DSLR here. I don't even know if this is a compatible, if like cameras this old are compatible, but why don't we find out? Okay, power this sucker on. All right. I think it flashed. Let's try it again. Oh, it definitely flashed. I don't know if the frame rate on the camera is fast enough to actually sync with that, but that seems to be working. Nice. All right, let's try an Olympus camera. Canon success. Oh my gosh, this is a ridiculous test. This is this is my OM3. It's like the smallest body I could put such a ridiculously huge flash on. Let's see if it works. Okay, go ahead and power this on, power this on. Let's see what happens here. Oh, there was definitely a flash there. Does this look ridiculous enough? Let's see how super filled that is. Oh yeah, that is absolutely working. I think we can conclude from this that the conversion worked. I was able to take my Westcott FJ80IIS, the Sony specific version, and switch it to a multi-brand version by replacing the hot shoe and updating the firmware. Massive kudos to Westcott for this. I super appreciate their customer support and even the fact that they were willing to let me try this. They have won my loyalty for that. Cool. Hopefully this helps somebody out there who had the same question I did. Peace.